So the racetrack changed my life. You know, that car did, and the racetrack, and it was such. I'm so competitive. I love the fact that it's a sport where you can, you know, win.
Yes.
So yeah, everything sort of, it was like the perfect.
High five.
Yeah, we like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not competitive at all. Oh my gosh, guys, thanks so much. Welcome to High Octane Hustle. My name is Fastlane Jane.
And I'm Design Muse, and today we have
Martina Kwan.
Yes, welcome. I'm so excited you're here.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my
we
gosh.
appreciate it, yes.
So where do we start?
Well, I know you like racing, and I know you like Porsches, so I feel like that might be a good place to start.
And I know you have 3 championships.
Couple
There's
of those under
that.
a belt, huh?
Yeah. And we talked before the show, and you mentioned that you're a drift queen. I want you to expand on that
Well, she did
story.
know Tanner from-
So we actually drove in the Olympic Stadium in Beijing together for Celine Night in July of 2019. So
Wow.
yeah, so we were there for 5 days, preparing for this big show in front of 25,000 people. So
Wow.
that's where I met him. Yeah.
So explain to me and the audience, what is Celine Night? What is that?
Okay, so Celine is an American car manufacturer. They typically do Ford Celines, but they also have the S7, which is a supercar, and then they developed the S1 Cup car, which is sort of in the GT4 class of GT4 America right now. And so that was the car that I was driving there.
Fun.
And during the GT World Challenge.
Wow.
And you got asked to go do that. Were you one of the only women, or were there?
There
a
were
few?
actually several
Awesome.
women.
Very
So
cool.
I love the fact that Celine is a company
Yeah.
that believes in women,
Totally.
believes in women drivers, and really fosters and empowers women to do that.
Yeah, before we were talking about just how the space now is so much more open for people like us, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think, I think there's more of us out there than we realize, but we're fostering it a little bit more, you
Yeah.
know, with social media, with different things like that, making it okay for more women to get out there and do this. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good segue to be like, how did you share with us how you even got started into this? Where did the love of motorsports start for you?
It started late. So I decided to become a race car driver at the age of 50. I'm 57 now.
Love it.
And I think a lot of us women, you know, when we're in our 40s, we kind of take care of everyone else's needs but our own. The
I
kids,
am with you there.
right?
Yes.
The business.
We've been talking about all this. Yes.
And so at some point, I mean, I think we all lose ourselves and
Yeah.
we forget who we are before all of life's responsibilities to over. So that was exactly how I felt. And so when I moved here from Miami Beach in 2013, I finally was able to afford myself a 911. And I brought...
Was that like a dream car for you or what?
It was a dream car,
Yeah.
yes.
Where did that start?
Probably from my dad, who
Okay.
in England had wanted a 356, but then my aunt talked my grandparents out of buying it for him. So his whole life, he actually drove Mercedes, but he always had 356 on all of the Mercedes license plates.
Really? Wow.
So
Love
I'm
it.
personally a fan of the newer Porsches, the newer 911s rather than the old ones, the air-cooled ones. So when I moved here, it's so incredible. California, it's not like Miami. Miami is completely flat. But
So it's a drag race state, folks.
For the
Right?
flat, long straightaways,
Yeah.
yes.
But, you know,
it's what I love about California, definitely.
so
We have
beautiful.
amazing roads
Oh
and,
my gosh.
scenery, yeah.
PCH to
Yeah.
Malibu, just driving along with loud music, or Mulholland Drive, the canyons. It's just
Yes.
so beautiful to look at, the ocean, and then you have San Bernardino, Lake Arrowhead. It's just an amazing place to drive.
Agreed.
So that really, wanting to remember who I was and just getting in my car and telling my ex-husband, you take the kids today. I'm going to go drive.
It's going to be about you, huh?
Yeah.
Love
And it was just so wonderful. I'm a big daydreamer as well. That kind of was like a place to really think about what I wanted, out of life again. So yeah, the car and that specific car, which now her name is Firehorse, means a lot to me.
Oh, I love that.
That
First,
was good.
I love that you named your car,
Yep.
and I love that the onus on self-care, right,
Yeah.
can be driving.
Yeah.
the canyon.
And that's part of it. I mean, I love to get in a car, motorcycle, whatever it is, and you get your own space. You get that time, we always call it's like a helmet time or seat time or whatever.
Right.
It's like we have time to ourselves, our thoughts, and really think about us and what, we love that.
And those-
I know I can resonate.
Yes, and those beautiful canyon roads, you have to focus, right?
Yeah.
Because you'll have a turn.
Absolutely. And now, of course, since I've been going to the racetrack, I encourage anyone who's a canyon driver to take it out at the racetrack. It's much safer.
Right.
To really feel your car, no matter what make or model, really listen to it, hear it, drive over 100, 150 miles an hour at a racetrack where it's safe.
Yeah.
So the first time I went up to Willow Springs was in 2015, and driving up the 14, up the mountain and through Acton, it was so beautiful, and I felt like my problems were going away. It was this sense of freedom, and I had lived in the desert in Bahrain when I was in ninth grade.
Very cool.
And so just entering Antelope Valley and the Mojave Desert and the Joshua trees, it was like, wow, I was coming home in a sense. So the racetrack changed my life, that car did, and the racetrack. And it was such, I'm so competitive. I love the fact that it's a sport where you can, win.
Yes.
So everything sort of, it was like the perfect.
Yeah, we like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not competitive at all.
Baja Forged, signature vehicle builds and off-road products built to forge your own path. Baja Forged was basically made because we loved off-roading. We loved the open roads. If you're looking for off-road products to help you get out on the terrain, visit bajaforged.com. Follow us on Instagram at Baja Forged for our latest builds.
Since 1987, GTS Customs has specialized in resto-mod Corvettes. From widened bodies to pro touring vehicles with all today's modern technology. If you've got a Corvette, an old Corvette, and you want to make it drive like something new, contact gtscustoms.com.
But it's possible. It's possible for anyone at any age to do whatever you want to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? But it does take somebody to take the lead, right? So other women in front of us
Yes.
who were race car drivers back in the day, even in the 60s and 50s, and then Lynn St. James and all these other people led the way, and now we're leading the way for other women.
Agreed.
Yes.
And it's a really nice thing to give back and to mentor and show other people that, you know what, you can do this
Bringing
too.
more people into the space. It's so important to us too. Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
Good.
And you guys met as a result of the event that we just recently went to, Women's Motor Fest.
Yes, exactly.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
So Women's Motor Fest started, no, I forget, 2 years ago or 1 year? I think it was last year.
I think 1 year ago.
Yeah, it was just last year. And it was in Columbus, Ohio. They just did a Detroit location, and now we just did the Southern California location at the Marconi Museum in Tustin. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. But yes, Martina and I met because we were committee members on that.
Yeah.
So my goal was to find a location. So
Mission accomplished.
Yep,
Thank
it was.
you.
It was.
That was a great location.
And it's funny, how that came about. Lana Chrisman had helped out. We were supposed to do it at Lions Automobilia. It just didn't work out with the timing and everything else, and so we ended up. She's like, here, talk to the Marconis. find out everyone knows them. They're just amazing people, great family, you know, to work with. So
Yeah, and their
it's-
story is something. And then
Definitely.
you look at that location.
Yeah.
And what was it? It was a, gosh, they did distribution there.
Oh,
originally.
salad dressing. Yeah, 40 years ago or something.
Yes, and just the way
Yeah.
that they were able to repurpose
Oh, gosh,
that
it's gorgeous.
location
Yeah.
made it just exquisite for the
Yeah.
event. And
Yeah.
you jumped in on that.
Yeah.
And
It was so fun. So the founder is Jamie Blasemon, and she does the Femcanic Garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was a podcast host a few years ago there, and that's kind of how I think we all
Yep.
came together on the committee. And
Yeah.
it was such a great ambition and mission accomplished.
Totally.
I mean,
Yeah.
great location,
Yeah.
fantastic turnout, and it was so empowering to see all the women drive their cars. And I loved the women with their American cars
Yeah.
who had their little displays of what the car was about.
Right.
It was so
Yeah.
cute. I
that's
really-
old school car show. I remember.
Very sweet.
Yeah. I remember that from back in the day. This is a sidebar. My dad was taking his Indian and Triumph to one of the big, like the LA Convention Center, and he saw, Janie, will you make a sign? Because I was very into art. Will you make a sign for me? And I'm thinking to myself, I know exactly. He saved those signs, but
Aw, yeah.
but everything he told me, I had to write it all out
Yep.
and do it sort of decoratively. But that I loved that aspect that the women were bringing that back and
Yeah.
and showcasing that bit of nostalgia, if only
Definitely.
for me.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I love the fact there are so many women who are interested or drive nice cars
Yeah.
here in Southern California, but I do wish more would come to the racetrack.
Oh, I'm with
Hey,
you.
you don't have
It's
to tell us
still-
twice.
yeah,
we'll
still
be out there.
too few.
I,
Yes.
I really wanted to do it this weekend and all of that. I was like trying to get everyone and convince everyone to like, oh, it's a little short notice. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like to
But-
prep our cars.
we're ready to go out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you get involved then with Willow Springs besides
So you
started
went there for-
racing
yeah,
there,
yeah.
right?
So I had gone first with Porsche Owners Club.
Okay.
And those first 2 years, 15 and 16, I was pretty busy with my company. So I was doing a
And what
lot
do you
of-
do?
I was manufacturing luxury outdoor furniture.
Okay, cool.
Mostly 4 or 5-star hotels.
Nice.
So a business owner, entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Basically, that's been my passion for most of my career, aside from being a financial controller before. But Willow Springs, so the first few years was traveling to Dubai and Abu Dhabi and not really going for 1 or 2 track days a year. And then my third visit in September to Dubai really changed my life. And the convention center wasn't ready for me. I laid in the hotel room. I said, what am I going to do? The containers haven't been unloaded. What do I even like to do? And that's what I mean. Like, I didn't even know what Martina liked to do anymore. And then I thought, every vacation I would love to go horseback riding. Wherever we went, whether it was the Caribbean or wherever. And so I said, I'm going to take a taxi out to the desert and kind of relive my 9th grade experience in Bahrain. It was also Dubai, the desert. I went out to the Arabian desert, got on an Arabian horse, and at sunset,
That sounds amazing. Already.
Every cell in my body
No.
just went,
Right?
I can feel myself being there, right? Go on,
riding,
please.
Sorry to interrupt.
That's
That
it.
was a moment.
riding in the desert, and it kind of makes me cry. I remembered who I
Yeah.
was again.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm divorcing my ex, and I'm going to become a race car driver, and I'm going to name my 911 Fire Horse.
Yes.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh, that was so
brilliant.
good. I mean, I
That's
feel like we should
amazing.
all go to the Arabian desert now and do that.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I've been out there and done some cool things too.
Yeah.
But it's,
That's
it's one
amazing.
of those moments where you have to say, F it and go for it. And just say, you've tried, if you have children, which I do, there's a responsibility to try and make things work. After 6 years of trying doesn't work, okay, enough, bye-bye. And it was the best decision of my life. not only did I become a 3-time champion race car driver, but I met my soulmate, who was my race coach, Dwayne DeMent. And we now live together. 1 week I'm with my kids, and 1 week I'm there on a 2.5-acre property right outside the gate of Willow Springs. And
That's amazing.
we also have an Arabian horse in the back. So the animals, I've always wanted to live on a farm, and I never envisioned living on a racetrack as well.
Right.
Wow.
So-
And a desert farm. So I live in a desert ranch out in the middle of nowhere. So I totally feel you on all of this. And there is something about the desert because, like, I mean, it's where you found yourself. There, like, people talk about the desert all the time. I mean, you know, they go out there for a reason. The presence is different. It's you don't have the extra energy and noise of the city and everything else that's
So
happening.
true.
It's you. It's just about you.
Yeah.
And that's what you feel, you know?
Yeah.
And you did. You felt that out there.
That's exactly right. I actually saw your video when you took Jamie out in the desert, and you're 100% right. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
The weather changes. There, you see so much sky.
Yeah.
Whereas in Santa Monica, it's all buildings, and out in the desert, it's the wind. It's just magical. We
is.
love it.
It is.
We love it so much. And there's off-roading at Willow Springs too, and shooting.
Yes.
Well,
so we're doing all those things.
Come on, pack it up. We're going because
Can
this
you
is
tell?
a 2-part episode.
Yes, it is.
Field trip. I
That's
love
right.
it.
We added those.
We did have field trips, didn't we? I love that.
Definitely.
So, but you're also involved with Willow Springs as well, not just racing there. You've become a part of. Tell me about that.
So
Tell
it's-
us about that. I was very greedy with that, wasn't I? Tell me.
Just tell her.
Just
They'll
tell me.
listen.
It's
They'll
just
listen.
a wonderful relationship. So the former owner, Drawley Engineering, was big into Shelby's, and he was there for many years. So whoever, you know, is at the property, there have only been 2 owners in the last 50 years of the property that Dwayne bought. And yeah, they're our family now. So we have the gate clicker. Dwayne helps a lot with different things. Like the most recent project was helping make turn 3 a lot safer on the big track. So there was a wall there that he used a really big, tractor or whatever you call it, and moved earth. And so it's a much safer track on the left side of turn 3 now. So we really like to help out and look out for each other. And if there's anyone the other day, actually a few weeks ago, I was like, wait a minute, it's 6 a.m. Somebody's on the racetrack. They're not supposed to be there, but they had actually prearranged it. But so we're always looking out for each other to make sure, everything's on the up and up.
That's
So
amazing.
It's really
so,
nice.
so that allows you as much seat time as you could possibly ever want.
Yeah, pretty much.
These are the things we do for what we love doing,
yeah.
You kind of, when we surround ourselves in this community,
Yeah.
you find other people that, well, why do you do
Yeah.
that? Because I love to. Like, I want to help them because
Yeah.
it's cool. I get to do this, I
Yeah.
get to get behind the wheel and go out there and have fun, So, yeah, I love
Yeah,
that.
I've always loved that idea of having a space like Pahrump. I think it's in Pahrump where they have a track where there's condos and all sorts of stuff.
Spring
And I'm
Mountain,
thinking,
yeah.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the big one. But I love that idea so that I could just wake up and instead of
Walk
having
right
to
out.
stop at the stop sign, I can just take the Corvette out and just hit it sideways and just have a good time.
I mean, well, that's
Yeah,
what it's like
I
for
mean,
me in the Bronco, but yeah.
I know. I feel it's such a disadvantage here today. I'm breaking the law. You guys don't.
Well, we've already talked about our racetrack out in the middle somewhere, Jane.
Yes.
So that'll happen someday.
Yes, it will.
We all
It
have
will.
these big dreams,
Yes.
don't we?
The compound. Yes. Oh my gosh. You
Definitely.
do a few other things though too, and
Yeah.
was it the life-changing event that happened on the Arabian horse in the Arabian desert that spawned the idea of helping other women to find their mate? Talk about that.
Yeah. So a few years ago, I decided to take a little hiatus from racing and focus on my new businesses. I'm a big believer of you have to focus in order to be successful, which is the only option, right? Success. You have to focus. You can't do too many things. So I started DK Racing School and with Dwayne, but it is a 100% women-owned racing school, probably the only one in the world. And then I also started Daring to Be Different coaching, and I wanted to give back to women and coach them. So I'm certified in many different things, mindset coaching and mind shifting and all sorts of different things. But it's my passion to especially help single women, single again women who are in their 40s or older, who have either never found their love or want to find love again. And so I created my Soulmate Connection Blueprint framework to help with that. And it's just magical to see women transform and change and find love because really at the end of the day, I mean, I was married twice before. Dwayne was married twice before, 3 times the charm. It's really incredible to be with somebody that you were just so compatible. And it's really nice to be understood and to understand someone and have the same values and the same critical thinking and the same work ethic. And I would love for everyone to have that.
Yeah,
That's
I love
amazing.
That. I always like to hear about mindset, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. Obviously you probably felt a shift in, your previous, how you were in your other 2 marriages in your life, and then this changing moment in what that changed into. Can you kind of walk us through that? Because mindset really is everything, and people, they don't talk about it enough. But in people are they can't articulate it sometimes. But I mean, it sounds like obviously if you're coaching people, you can kind of you saw it yourself, you felt it yourself.
Yeah. Well, I think, there are different aspects about mindset, but a lot of times, we go through life and a lot of people will blame the other partner for things rather than looking at themselves, and I think one of the big shifts for me when I divorced my ex was to look at myself. And because not only are we triggered by other people, but we trigger them as well. And what are the things, how we've learned to react probably back from childhood that we're doing to push other people away or to bring people closer. So I think the whole thing about mindset is to look at yourself first.
Accountability, right?
Accountability and to really, own up to, if you've effed up or whatever it is.
You are where you are because of yourself.
Exactly. It takes 2 to tango.
Yeah. But
the other thing about mindset with the Celine, for example, when I was approached at Cars and Copters by Gabrielle Cadringer, who was the former FIA technical director, and he had heard that I was a great driver, and he said, "Do you want to drive for Celine?" And I had never paddle shifted a race car. Mine was a PDK. So I was remembering in that moment, I was Richard Branson had that quote of say yes and then learn how to do it later.
Yeah,
as long as you know that you can deliver.
Totally.
But I was yeah.
Right?
And then
you already knew inside.
I was absolutely. Or can you drift? We want you to drift the car in China. I'm absolutely.
I'm gonna figure this out.
I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
But so I got myself
love it
to there's a simulator place in El Segundo, and then I ended up going almost every day to Porsche Experience Center to use their simulators. I would go in my full gear to sweat and really emulate being in the race car.
Right.
And then one Monday morning I go and they're closed. Shoot, I really wanted to practice. So I go on Craigslist and I found myself in Burbank here a simulator that I have at home now.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
But so I learned how to paddle shift.
Never
on
give
the
up,
simulator.
people.
Yeah.
Oh,
Keep
that's
doing it.
Yeah.
amazing.
So say yes
Yeah.
and really be
Even
open.
when you don't know. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. The other thing I think,
And
is,
that's a big mindset part right there is a lot of people, well, I don't know how to do that.
Right.
If you want to figure it out, you'll figure it out.
you'll figure it
Yeah.
out. Exactly. And then the other thing I think, especially for women is, and men, is it's easier not to judge.
Yeah.
Right? When you're judgmental, usually it's, if you look yourself in the mirror, it's you're pointing your finger at someone else, but what is it about that person that annoys you that is about you
Right.
and not them? So I think just getting rid of judgment and saying, you know what, it's cool. If that person wants to be that way, no problem.
Yes.
I accept it. I like it. Live and let live. And live and let live gets you more in life than judging and being
Holding grudges.
Yes. So that's the other huge
Yeah.
difference, is having a positive mindset.
Totally.
And if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, which we all do,
Right.
snap out of it. Just
Yeah.
do something, whether it's cleaning or going for a walk or exercising, that will snap you out of it, to change your mindset from I can't do this to, yeah, of course I can.
Yeah.
I want to, I'm going to, and I'm happy about it.
Yep.
And everything changes with that kind of positive outlook. I'm such a believer in that. I don't believe that people should be wallowing in their own sorrow.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, you can have a moment.
You can have a moment.
You have a moment. You know, there, you know,
Yeah.
but that's it. There's not, let's not stay there, you know?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, there's a couple of other layers to it. Shame
Oh, all the other.
Guilt.
Yeah.
and lack of self-forgiveness. And I think you probably help women through that
Yeah.
so that they understand, guess what? This is a temporary space
Yeah.
that I'm sitting in, right?
Well, and it probably came from, like you mentioned, it's something else. Someone else learned things when we were younger, whatever that is. It's retraining or making the decision to not be in that space anymore. And it's a hard decision because we kind of don't realize we're in that space until we do.
Because we've been
It's-
overworked, overchild. Well, I mean, think about this. Because of all these distractions,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we know from
We all need
driving,
to go to the desert.
right? We know
That's
that
right.
when we have these distractions, right? We can't focus on what we're supposed to be focusing
Think
on.
of traffic. I know. You're right.
Oh,
yeah. No,
There
totally.
you go.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking to myself when you were talking about, oh my gosh, being calm and just kind of like this, and it's a mindset, and I'm like, yeah, tell those people on the 101 or the 405 freeway, out of my way.
You know what's great for that, though?
Tell me, please.
I've been playing racquetball. It's so rewarding to slam that ball. So if you need to let out a little aggression, racquetball.
So
You have
racquetball
to-
is where
well,
it's at.
and you said take it to the track too, certain
Yes.
things like that. So,
Yes.
you have to realize the time and place for everything, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Oh my goodness.
But
What?
yeah,
You're so silly.
getting back to the track though. I mean, I think, especially for women, there are more and more going to on a higher level to the SRO and then to IMSA. And it's a really big deal. It takes a lot to get into a race car and go. And there was a moment when I was at Watkins Glen and I was sitting in my Celine S1 getting ready to participate in the GT World Challenge. And I was like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here, right? Here are all these other drivers who have been in go-karts since they could walk. And I've never even was interested in having I wanted a 911, but I wasn't interested in race car driving and just started recently. But then I was like, hell no, I'm here because I deserve to be. And I got with it and
Right.
got second place trophy. So yeah, it was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So again,
Amazing.
it's that moment of self-doubt, but you snap yourself out.
We have it. We all have fear. We all have self-doubt. We all have everything else. You just like those are common for all of us, but how it's tools. It's
Yeah.
figuring out what we need to do in that moment to get past it, It's never like you said, we all wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and we all have those moments.
You have to do that whole talk to yourself,
Yeah.
talk yourself into it, talk yourself out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's-
absolutely.
yeah.
And that's the other thing is really, I think in order for anyone to move forward is to open the luggage, the baggage of our life.
Yeah.
And my family was very much a let's sweep it under the rug.
Yes.
Problem?
I'm there with you.
Just put it there.
Yeah.
And so after a while, after you've lived for 4 decades or more, it's like shit. There's so much stuff underneath.
The rug is all
Rugs.
buckles,
Oh,
like
bumpy.
Mount
But
Everest.
Another thing about the Celine that it actually freaked me out the first time that I went to test it at Thurmond. And I got in the car and I turned it on, and I had only driven my Porsche 911 before. I wasn't used to this different car. It was a turbocharged car, and it paralyzed me with fear. And even in China, in Portland, I didn't know what the problem was because I never got paralyzed. I was always a getter and a doer, and like, what was paralyzing me about this? So I finally woke up one morning in August, and we were going to test at Buttonwillow. And so, driving over the Grapevine to Buttonwillow, I was like, I know what it is. And so the sounds of the cars reminded me of when I lived as a child in Beirut, Lebanon during the war.
Oh,
Wow.
And so I was like, that's what it is. The hissing, the popping sounds reminded me of the actual sounds of especially the rockets going off. Like it's this hissing.
boy.
Yeah.
And then you wouldn't know because it was
Right.
very rudimentary warfare in Beirut in 1974-5.
It's like a trigger.
Where is the bomb going to land?
Yeah.
It's going to
Yeah.
land on our house. So we had an apartment within 2 miles of the hotspot of the war. And every night we would hear the sirens, we would hear the
Yep.
machine guns get closer, and we would then pile into our corridor and sit there huddled. Anytime that sound went off, it was like, is it going to hit our apartment building? So I realized on that drive to Buttonwillow, I said, wow, that's what it is. And I need to deal with this now. So I pulled over, I had like an iPad, and I looked at YouTube for the real sounds of warfare. And for an hour, full volume, over the grapevine, I listened to bombs and explosions and rockets. And it was like a time travel. I had never thought about it. I had swept it under the rug. I
Right.
didn't dare look at it. I remember being very afraid of firework. The sound of it, I would be like, wow, I feel like I'm in Beirut, Lebanon now. So listening to those sounds for an hour, crying, remembering as a 8-year-old getting into my sister's bed and just being so scared, it helped me really deal with it. So I had really ripped up the rug and I was like, full on, give it to me. And when I got to Buttonwillow, I was able to get into the Celine and I drove it like my Porsche 911.
That is awesome.
That's
And
amazing.
It was unbelievable. I knew I needed to do that. Open that luggage and be like, what is it? What is it that is preventing me from performing? That's what it is. Deal with it. And boom, it was really changed my life.
That's powerful.
That is.
I mean, that moment, it's telling people you got to go through it. Mm-hmm. And that's what you did. You didn't sweep it under anymore. You went right through it and you got to the other side. Yeah.
That is, I mean, thinking about that is so, like, just powerful. I don't have a story like that, but I remember I was raised in a very dysfunctional household. And my mother decided to lock my father out of the house on one particular evening. He had been out drinking, and I guess she was hoping for safety. And the doorbell, I remember this as a child, and for the longest time, I couldn't take the sound of a doorbell.
But you didn't know why,
tone.
or did you?
I did.
Yeah.
And in a couple houses with Greg and I, we had to disconnect the doorbell because you do have to do you have to do that work.
Oh, yeah.
The
And
desensitizing
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
I'm okay with doorbells now, but
Yeah.
and it pales in comparison.
No, but it still triggers a
Yeah.
memory like that. For
and
sure.
it's going
Yeah.
back and
Sounds,
showing
smells, all those
Yeah.
types of things are very powerful. Yeah.
and going back and showing that small 8-year-old child is safe and here today. And I think that is wow. That's
I mean,
wow.
no, in like vehicles, cars, racing has been
the turbo.
so transformative for you
Yeah.
too. I mean, that's amazing to hear. That is, and you wanting to work through it, you knowing, and because it's like there's something about the love of it, of getting behind the wheel that is, I don't know, it's just for all of us, that has a moment.
And I think also as a woman, there is pressure on you to succeed, and
Yeah.
people are watching you. And it's like, especially having received that full ride with Celine, and being competitive, it's like all those factors. It's like, damn it, I better do well, But it was really a super incredible experience. All of it, and living at the racetrack and now giving back to men and women with DK Racing School. It's so great to watch people improve so much.
Yeah.
It's again, because I'm competitive, like whoever I private coach as well, it's like, okay, let's get those seconds shaved.
I love that.
Yeah, it's so much fun. It's so rewarding. And then there have actually been several women who have come through the school and have now purchased race cars and are race licensed. So that's so fun to see and see them succeed. And one of them got the 3rd place championship last year in Spec Boxster. And
Wow.
so great. Yeah.
Well, and I think sometimes the vehicles, our race vehicles, are just a metaphor for all of the other things that it trains us to overcome anytime we encounter. And well, in your particular instance, it was the Arabian horse, because you clearly like horsepower, but
And the name of her car, Fire Horse.
Right.
I
Fire
love
Horse.
it.
right.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I think that being a racer myself, I know that there's so many things that learning not to hold your breath, learning how to calm down. But all of those things that you're teaching these women behind the wheel of a car it's doing so much more on an everyday.
Yes. So it's exactly why I have the nonprofit, right? That Jesse and I started, because teaching skilled trades. It's the moment you're helping to empower someone to do something they realized they didn't think that they were possible of doing.
Yeah.
In that moment, you can help give that to someone else, that they are capable of doing that. It changes their life.
Yeah.
Because now they can do anything.
Yeah.
And so that's what you're helping them realize, like they are getting to that point. I mean, it helped change your life.
Yeah.
It really does. It transforms you in a way that you go like, well, shoot, I just did that. I can get through anything now, so.
Yeah. There was actually one other girl I wanted to tell you about. There have been many, many women. So I'm proud to say that usually when we have a class, it's at least 30% women, if not 40% sometimes, which is unheard of. But there's a girl called At Rosie Rocks, and she's in a wheelchair. And she has come several times to the school and uses her Nissan with controls, hand controls.
Yeah.
And she was getting so she'd taken a little hiatus now, but she was getting so good. Going into turn one, I was like, whoa. But so proud of her, for that's inspiring. Being in a wheelchair and racing a car it's like,
Nothing's
you know
holding you
what?
back.
If she can do it, anyone can do it,
Right.
man or woman.
Right.
And it speaks to your mindset.
Uh-huh.
Goes right back to
Yeah.
square one.
It does.
Mindset.
Yeah. Anything's possible.
Anything's
100%.
possible.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Wow, this has been great. I did not think it would be like this. This is a great, very powerful. I think we keep using that word, but it's great. It's I mean, motorsports to me, like we understand the community. It's something in you, and it really is that transformative.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you get bitten by that, holy moly.
Which we all have.
Yes, we have.
And it's pricey.
What's next for you? What's on your agenda for the end of 2023 and into 2024?
I mean, so many different things. So aside from DK Racing School, private coaching, and then helping women with the program that I created, Soulmate Connection Blueprint, which I'm really passionate about. I've been approached to drive several different opportunities. One is to drive an LMP3 in IMSA, either here or the
Very
other
cool.
option is to drive in Europe.
Wow.
And then there's another opportunity. I can't really reveal the details, but that might be a fully sponsored ride next year.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm really, really excited, and no matter what the future holds, it's all good. Again, it's like
Right.
whatever happens, like I'm so grateful and happy with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And grateful.
And that's when those good opportunities come, right? Is
That's
when
right.
you're like that. Yeah.
That's right. Being open and kind of not focusing too hard on it is when those doors open. When you're looking for something, you're not going to find it. But if you're like, I'm just going to do my thing,
Yep.
the opportunities start presenting themselves. And I think, one really important thing for people who want to, go pro or whatever it is being ultra professional is extremely important.
Yeah.
To have have a professional persona, both online and offline, is really important. And people pay attention to that. How well you treat the crew. It's everything, because
Yeah.
people develop reputations if they're being rude or not kind. It's really important to be respectful, thankful, grateful, kind, and offer the crew food and drinks and hydration, whatever it is to treat people as human beings.
Yeah. 100%.
Really, yeah.
I love that.
I know.
Oh my gosh. So when are we booking our date with Martina?
I know. We're ready to get behind the wheel too.
We'll have to check your schedule and your
Yeah.
calendar. So for our listeners, how do they find you?
Okay.
Are you
yeah.
on social media?
Yes, I'm at Martina Kwan, Kwan, three-time champion race car driver on Instagram. Also, DK Racing School. D stands for Dement and K stands for Kwan at DK Racing School. Or if you'd like to email me, it's info@martinakwan.com.
I
Awesome.
love it. I love it. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for being
that was
here
really
with
great.
us
That was
today.
awesome.
Thank you.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was-
Do you have a question for her?
Well, I feel like it's your question, Jane. So I'm gonna move it over to you.
Okay.
It's like
okay.
it's your
Let's
Maybe I need to think of my specific question.
Your
now.
specific question. Okay, so the question is, tell me, and this is, I told you I might change the question. I don't
No.
know. I'm
Oh.
not sure, but I don't think I can at this last minute. Well, we talked about it a little bit, and she's like, I know what you're going to ask. I know what you're going to ask. I'm already thinking about it.
Good.
I'm like, darn it, how come I don't have a question backup? Anyway, alive or not alive, who would you like to sit down with for dinner or a cocktail or a coffee and explain why, please?
Yeah. Dwayne's parents.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now you have to explain why.
Well, I mean, everyone is supposed to choose like an answer like Pablo Picasso or, right?
No, your
But-
answer is
no.
your answer. No.
Absolutely not.
So
no.
I really thought about it. I really love the question. And one thing that I would have, and we talk about his parents quite a bit, and I would love to meet them and just tell them and show them what an incredible human being he is. They died relatively young. And so I would just love to spend time with them. And yeah, so Dwayne's parents.
That's a great
Yeah.
answer.
And you'd love them because
Yeah.
they raised the man you married, your
That's
soulmate.
right. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It would be great to have, Sunday dinner with them and, those, that would be a nice.
Well, and it
nice
sounds
thing.
like you're already imagining these good, happy, moments like that. So that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
That's good.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Martina, for
Thank you.
being here today. I just loved this. Thank
Yeah.
you guys.
No, it was great.
For connecting the dots
I really loved it too. Yeah.
I think it was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. This is High Octane Hustle. I'm Fastlane Jane,
And I'm Design Muse.
and this is,
Martina Kwan.
and we appreciate you listening.
Thanks.
Peace out. Hey guys, I'm Fastlane Jane.
And I'm Design Muse.
And this is High Octane Hustle, and we are bringing you guys an amazing giveaway. Check this out. Some Heatwave visuals. Heatwave Visuals has decided to come on board, and we've got some giveaways. What do they have to do, Theresa?
So, to win a pair of glasses like this, you need to follow Heatwave Visual, Auto Revolution, and High Octane Hustle Official. So leave a comment below, right in this post, and hashtag High Octane Hustle to win your pair of Heatwave glasses.
Visuals. Whoop, whoop.